Well, our president is one who talks about fairness. Well, we've got to be fair. Well, what is fair? What is fair? Well, we've just got to have fairness. Well, you've hit everybody. Well, it's just got to be fair. Well, who's deciding what fair is? Well, some of the legislators in states think we're going to know what fair is. But the truth is, in America, you can vote with your feet. And if you don't like what they're doing to you in one state, you can move. And if taxes are too high where you live, you might just say, I want to go to some state with lower taxes. And that's just what many people have already done. As Heather Sells reports, that migration is creating clear winners and clear losers.
What is it that causes people to pick up and move? Whether it's across town or across the country. You don't usually hear taxes in the explanation, but new data shows it's all part of the equation. The IRS provided the evidence that allows us to simply follow the money.
We're talking about not a survey, not a sample, not a focus group. We're talking about actual results of people's adjusted gross income.
The data author Travis Brown cites in How Money Walks shows the incomes of 43 million Americans and where they went between 1995 and 2010.
Generally, what we find is that taxpayers over the long term are fleeing the high tax states and flocking to the low tax states.
Brown discovered that the 9 states with no personal income tax gained $146 billion in income during this period. And the states with the highest personal income tax rates, they lost $107 billion. Overall, states with the lowest state and local tax burdens brought in almost $70 billion, and those with the highest burdens took a $139 billion hit. Some of these so-called winner states, like Texas and Florida, are well known for attracting newcomers, but others could be considered more of a well-kept secret. You might not think of Tennessee as a trendy state to move to, but that's actually what's happening. It's one of 9 states nationwide with no personal income tax and an overall low tax burden.
A lot of people are coming from the Midwest, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio. A lot of people are coming from the Northeast because that's a very expensive place to live.
Mary Jo Page directs marketing for Fairfield Glade, a retirement community perched high atop Tennessee's Cumberland Plateau. The natural beauty here makes it an easy sell, and the lower taxes help to close the deal. Karen and Dennis Shaw escaped 10 years ago from the D.C. suburbs of Northern Virginia.
When I left up there, I was paying $4,000 a year in taxes, and when I moved down here, my taxes went to $750.
Chris and Abe Seelick moved from a small house in Chicago to a beautiful retirement home in Fairfield Glade. Here they can afford extras like a new pontoon boat.
We still have a house in Chicago, 3-bedroom ranch. We pay over $9,000 taxes. On this house on the lake, we pay less than $1,400.
In fact, Tennessee joins the top 10 states that saw the greatest gains in adjusted gross income from 1995 to 2010. And the losers? States with notoriously high taxes like California, Michigan, and Illinois. James Martin, head of 60 Plus, a conservative seniors group, thinks taxes are the #1 reason that people move, although it's not always discussed.
Those states that they're moving to, sure, climate is a part of that, but that's not the real reason. It's the economic situation they find in those states.
Critics contend that tax cuts play at most a minor role in migration. They point to research that shows people move for climate, new jobs, and cheaper housing. Of course, there's plenty of folks on the ground in Fairfield Glade who would disagree.
That's probably even more important to people than what the cost of the homes are, because that's more of their long-term living expenses are the taxes here.
Brown is careful not to blame high taxes for this migration. He describes it more as a correlation and believes that policymakers should not ignore statistics that show dramatic shifts between high and low tax states.
They're not the only thing, but they do weigh in when it's time to make a lifetime decision.
For families like the Shaws, lower taxes have brought peace of mind and a little extra to spare.
We have here the home that we wanted, the land that we wanted, the amenities that we really wanted.
For all families, there's no denying that taxes affect income. Exactly how that affects where they live is debatable. But as the IRS numbers show, any community that wants to attract people should consider low taxes as a draw, just like a beautiful golf course or mountain lake. Reporting in Cumberland County, Tennessee, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Well, thanks, Heather. Well, the 9 states with no personal income tax gained $146 billion from 1995 to 2010. The 9 states with the highest personal income tax rates lost $107 billion. States with the lowest state and local tax burdens brought in almost $70 billion. Those with the highest burdens took a $139 billion hit to their revenue. It's pretty clear the way it is. And Wendy, I don't know if you can ever talk, maybe labor unions or some of the people on the left, the environmentalists or somebody into opening their eyes to the truth. But thank goodness for Tennessee, thank goodness for Texas, and Virginia, by the way, which has a very low burden one.
Where are the states getting their money? Where are they getting those billions of dollars if they're not getting it from the personal income tax?
Well, they're getting it from all kinds of things. You get sales taxes, you get people coming in, they use the facilities, they go out and eat, you have a tax maybe on restaurant meals and so forth. I mean, just economic activity, you know, is the deal. I mean, people come in, they get jobs, they're working, and the businesses pay taxes, and all together the rising tide lifts all the boats.
Amazing. So they have more personal income to dispose, and then it just brings everything
up. It brings
up.
everybody up because, you know, if you got a prosperous community, then your local retailers making money, and the manufacturers are making money, and the car dealers are making money, and little by little, I mean, it's economic activity. And the others, I mean, when you've got that drain, you have fewer people to buy your cars, fewer to buy your furniture, fewer to rent your apartments and so forth. And it just is a cascading effect. But I don't know why these Rust Belt states don't get the message.
Well, they ought to, because we're not talking just a little bit of change here. We're talking billions of dollars.
Big bucks, absolutely.